ever look happy, then it's an act. There is an anxiety attack. I wish I could take it back. I drink the water at the tap with the clean double printed. Some my therapy, complacent. I'm being so jaded. I'm miserable. I hate it. I hate it. Killed me, I used to be. Living like I'm 33, he's like I'm 36, Chipos like I'm 20. You know I'm pushing like that's why I'm in this
Oh yeah, baby, let's go. I'm about to tell you guys my favorite training split for making strength gains, hypertrophy gains, just my favorite training split. It's a training split where you can change a lot and you can customize it to whatever your goals are, whatever you specifically need. And a lot of you guys could probably already tell from this footage what I'm going to say. I'm going to give you one more second to guess if you haven't guessed already. And if you're a person of culture, a person of intelligence who likes to train, I'm sure you already know. Say we're talking about the push-pull legs split. And you may or may not have heard about this training split, training style already, but I'm not so sure who you heard from, so I can't really trust that they steered you right. So I'm going to tell you from me, a true fitness fanatic, a lover of the push-pull leg split. I've been lifting this way for maybe a year and a half to 2 years now on this split, and boy, do I love it for a plethora of different reasons. Me, myself, I'm that fit unk. Malcolm Johnson, personal trainer here in Baltimore, fitness fanatic. I'm a cyclist. I do calisthenics, weightlifter, former skateboarder. You name it. If it has to do with fitness, I love it, and I'm deeply probably interested in it. I probably have a history with it. Nonetheless, with lifting weights, I've been lifting weights for ages, since playing football since the 6th grade in Texas. I've been playing football and lifting weights. Playing football and lifting weights goes together like white on rice. And with that being said, I've gotten a chance to try out a bunch of different types of training splits. Push-pull legs. I've been hearing some slander about my baby, the push-pull legs training split. And to get right into the cons, the cons are the people talking ill of the push-pull legs training split. Because truly, people just don't understand how to execute this training split correctly. But don't worry, since you clicked on this video, I'll tell you how to do the push-pull leg split effectively. That way, all these so-called caveats, you will know simply just propaganda, trying to hold back your gains. These are just fake naturals and just evil influencers who don't want you to make the most gains so they can have all the gains for themselves. Now, where to begin? Push-pull legs training split. I suppose one of the biggest antis, like one of the biggest oppositions to this training split is all the steroid bros who keep saying you could train and get these insane Batman-like physiques with 3 days of training. Well, that is unequivocally false, and the only reason that these guys have any muscles is because they are on steroids. And I hate to break it to you, I know they're telling you that they got to 250 pounds lean naturally. They are lying. And the only reason they have gains is because they are on steroids. And that is why they can train 2 to 3 days a week and make gains. And here's the cold, hard truth to even the 3-day training week bros. If you trained 5 days a week, you'd have more gains. With that being said, one of the biggest, drawbacks people talk about is volume. This makes no sense to me. They say, hey, push-pull legs, you're training too much, you can't recover. Where to even begin with this foolishness? One, push-pull legs is a program that's very customizable. Depending on how far along you are in your lifting journey, your central nervous system is going to respond differently to training stimulus. Some people, a newer lifter is going to recover a lot slower than a more seasoned lifter who's on top of their nutrition and all the recovery factors, all the other recovery factors, as well as just time in the game. Time in the game helps. But if you're new, you don't have to run push-pull legs full hardo mode. You can just do 3 days on, 1 day off. Push-pull legs, rest. Push-pull legs, rest. That's the easy way to do it. It's very simple. 3 days on, 1 day off. I guarantee you can recover from that. That's 5 days of training. Wait, math's not my strong suit. That's 3 days of training and you rest. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how many days of training it is in a week, because when you're running 3 days on, 1 day off, it's going to be variable. You're going to be, I suppose you can look at it in 8-day training blocks, and you're training 6 out of the 8 days in that block. That's how a real veteran would look at it. A training week is 8 days long, not 7. But whatever. So say you're newer, you're a newbie lifter. Just do push-pull legs, rest. That's simple. You won't have any recovery impingements, no issues there. Now, if you're a more seasoned lifter and you're not listening to this hocus pocus of you can work less hard and make more gains, and you have a brain, math is math. If you want all the gains, you have to put in all the work. Volume makes gains. You talk to powerlifters. Powerlifters are not training on like, oh, I'm trying to get the biggest bench this year. That's why I bench 1 day a week. That makes no sense. If you want to maximize your gains, you really want to be hitting your muscle groups more than once in a week. I hate to break it to you. Everybody knows this. Girls who want to have a fat ass, they're lifting legs. They're inventing days in the week to lift legs more often. Girls are lifting legs 8 to 10 days a week. And yes, I know there's only 7 days in a week, but if you want a big booty, you got to be squatted. You got to be hitting legs. All the bros who are trying to bring their arms up, every day is arm day. Like, you get the idea. Me, myself, my big insecurity first on was I had to get a chest. Like, I was like, I cannot walk around without having some type of chest game. And then once I finally got a chest from spamming chest exercises, then I was like, man, I can't do 3 pull-ups. I have to spam pull-ups. Now I could probably, I don't even know how many pull-ups I can do. I could possibly maybe, I'm going to put it at, I think I can do 19 pull-ups unbroken. But with that being said, you need to be training volume if you seriously want to make gains. If you're not trying to put a Band-Aid on your emotions, a Band-Aid on your feelings where you have to, because you're sad that you realize that you have to actually work hard to make gains, volume is your best friend. And simple volume is even more so your best friend. The thing about powerlifting is you look at these guys' schedules for training, it's like this accessory exercise, bamboo press, car press, bus press. Like, it's so complicated. Push-pull legs gives you the volume, but it removes all the complication. It's so simple. What are you doing today? Push. What are you doing tomorrow? Pull. And the day after, it's that simple. Volume and volume simplified. Volume gives you the gains. Simplification makes it easy to repeat. And the volume, you're not going to be running away from the volume. You're going to probably want more because, the gains are so good with push-pull legs. PRs once a month. Your nutrition is dialed in. PRs, baby. PRs on lifts that you never thought you would improve on because you're just getting that volume in. With that being said, one of the real caveats, I suppose you could call this a caveat, or maybe one of the real things to consider with push-pull legs training is that your muscles can take more training than your joints and tendons can. So when you're training this way, you will get that veteran badge of honor, which is joint pain. Joint pain just lets you know that you're actually training. Because there's one thing like, my muscles are sore, I've been training. But once you get far long enough in the game, muscle soreness, we all know muscle soreness is not actually an indicator of muscle growth. Like, as you get further along and your body gets accustomed to training, like, you're not necessarily walking around feeling crazy sore. But, oh my goodness, like my chest hardly ever feels, like, I don't know, like I just hit chest crazy today. My chest doesn't feel sore. I can tell that I train chest. But my elbows, I'm not even going to move my arms too much more. The flexing of my elbows, the popping of my elbows and my shoulders. Because your joints and your tendons cannot take as much training as your muscles can. And normally that's a problem that you see with the steroid bros. Because steroid bros know that you have to train absolutely crazy volume if you want to see crazy gains. But as a natural, you normally don't run into that issue. But if you're running push-pull legs training, the push-pull legs training split, you do get that badge of honor, which is joint pain and tendon pain as a natural. So with that being said, if you are running push-pull legs and you don't want to run into any actual trouble, like long-lasting joint issues, I highly recommend that is when you start lifting with actual like extra gear and accessories. And I'm not talking about the other kind of gear. I'm talking about belts, wrist wraps, things of that nature. You're running push-pull legs, invest in some elbow sleeves, invest in some wrist wraps, invest in some knee sleeves. The squat volume alone, once you start squatting, or I'm a real squatter, I high bar back squat. You need mobility. Once you start squatting 2-3 days a week, a lot of people can't squat 1 day a week, let alone 3 days a week with serious volume and serious intensity. you're going to want a belt, you're going to want some knee sleeves. Same thing with bench pressing or any pressing movements. Your elbows are screaming bloody murder. Your wrists are screaming bloody murder. So with that being said, one thing is true. If someone's saying, hey, this training style is a lot of volume on the body and you can't recover, you absolutely can recover, but your joints and tendons are slower to recover. So with that being said, I highly recommend not training raw, not training just, pull up to the gym, no belt, no wrist strap, no knee sleeves, no nothing. That's a little reckless from your training with this volume. It's actually extremely reckless. Get the gear, spend the $150, $200, get yourself a nice belt, wrist straps, knee sleeves, etc. Let me consult with my notes for some more cons on the push-pull legs training split. Personally, honestly, it's really just the greatest training split ever because as you get better, you can modify it. I suppose that takes me back to another subject. Some people say push-pull legs is bad because you skip over all your accessories. You're training all these other muscles so hard that you can't adequately train your body. This is just a misconception. I just said that your joints and your tendons, those need more time to recover than your actual muscles do. And similarly, everyone that complains like, oh, I can't train biceps as much as I would like to because I'm training push-pull legs. Biceps in your calves are not muscles that you should be training 50 times a week. Biceps and calves and your delts are honestly going to be adequately trained from your compound lifts. Your hamstrings need far more intention than your calves do. And the lovely thing about training something like your hamstrings is you can multitask, train your hamstrings and your calves at the same time. You can also train your triceps and your chest at the same time. Compound lifts can train those small accessory stabilizing muscles very well. And then on top of that, the joints surrounding those smaller muscles, since the muscles are smaller, the joints are even weaker. The elbow flexor tendon is known to be one of the weakest tendons in the body. You should not be doing bicep curls 3 times a week. I'm not even going to lie to you. And I've done bicep curls 3 times a week. I kind of still do bicep curls 3 times a week. And I only have 16-inch arms. And these are the small arms that you're going to have training push-pull legs. This is just a fallacy. So 2 things. 1, you shouldn't be training these small muscles all the time. 2, these smaller muscles that don't get the direct attention, yes, they're not getting as much attention, but they are being adequately trained, if not more than adequate. They're being well trained through the compound movements that you should be doing with your push-pull legs training. How do you train your hamstrings and your calves at the same time? I don't know. Go do a few pistol squats and tell me if you're not using your hamstring and your calf at the same time. You see what I'm saying? You're not actually losing anything. You should not be spending a day training your calves, and you shouldn't be spending a day training your biceps. I'm sorry, it's inefficient, and it's rookie stuff. It's just a fallacy. Anyone's telling you, oh, push-pull legs is inefficient because I lost front delt day. Why do you have a whole day for training your front delts? And you're not training your front delts on the bench press, and you're doing bench press, incline bench, you're doing weighted dips. Come on. It's not true. That one is just a lie. Let's see. I wrote these down. These cons are just silly. Oh, the intensity is too low because you can't recover. Some people say that the intensity that you're training push-pull legs is too low because you can't recover in an appropriate amount of time. This one is also, surprise, untrue. But there's a little more nuance to this. So I'm going to take my time explaining. So 1, you have a day in between each muscle group. All of your elite lifters in the world, whether that be elite bodybuilders or elite powerlifters, none of these people are training 2 days, 3 days a week. Everyone is pushing volume to levels that you could train a lot. I personally train 8 days on, 1 day off, 8 days on, 2 days off. This week I took 2 days off. My tendons were popping a little bit. But with that being said, you can't recover. It's push, pull, legs. It's not legs, legs, legs. It's not push, push, push. It's not pull, pull, pull. You have 2 to 3 days rest in between each muscle group. You can't recover really. You can't recover. That's not because of the training. It's because you're either not eating enough or you're not sleeping enough. If you're eating enough and sleeping enough, you can absolutely recover. Like that part is a little silly to even address. But the part that deserves a tad more respect is your central nervous system is a thing. You don't want to be taxing your central nervous system every single day. You don't want to be passing out from deadlifts and then passing out from bench press and then passing out for back squat. But guess how you control that, how you fix that issue? You just monitor how hard you train. There are RPEs and percentages of your max. So here's a crazy idea. Don't max out every single day. Your central nervous system will be A-okay, and your gains will be absolutely absurd. This year alone, I just hit a PR today. I didn't have the whole camera set up, but I have the iPhone footage, 285 for 3 on bench press while cutting weight. A cutting weight PR is a PR times 10, because not only is it a PR, I also weigh less. I have less muscle mass. Well, I have less body mass. But you see, I'm a good cutter. I know what I'm doing, holding on to that lean muscle mass through the weight cut. But you get the idea. So all these things they say about push-pull legs and it not being effective, it breaks my heart because they're just trying to steal the gains. Push-pull legs gives you very great volume. It gives you simple volume. It teaches you how to recover and how important it is to get your nutrition in because you got another crazy training day coming right up. You can't just be, BSing. Also, push-pull legs, I'm going to go ahead and say, is an intermediate to an advanced training program because you need to be coming to push-pull legs ready to rock and roll. This is not the type of program you run when you're in college and you're still fighting hangovers or you're just getting started in the gym and you're not consistent with your nutrition or your recovery. Push-pull legs is you're dialed the frick in. You're starting to realize, like, wow, I got to work really hard to make gains. I can't just half-ass in the gym and still make gains. And that's when you switch to push-pull legs. You hit a plateau, you're not going to plateau on push-pull legs. If anything, I'm not going to say you're not going to hit a plateau. That's not a problem you're going to run into with push-pull legs. The only thing you're going to have to monitor with push-pull legs, I will say, is your recovery. And not your muscle recovery as much as your tendon recovery. But boy, are those tendons important. But that's why push-pull legs is modifiable. Take a day off, add an arm day in. I currently run push-pull legs arms, which gives me extra time for my big muscles to recover. And also, I can hit my arms. That way, I don't have these tiny arms that everyone says push-pull legs gives you. I have 16-inch arms, 16-inch biceps. And honestly, how big can your biceps get naturally anyways? Nonetheless, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Join the Fit Familia Fit fam right here by subscribing. Feel free to leave a like or a comment. I'm a personal trainer, fitness fanatic, and anytime you guys engage with me on here, it just helps me keep doing what I love to do, which is fitness is a full-time job. So help me keep doing what I love to do if you will, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.